Hey everyone, it's Cam at American Community Bank. With interest rates, particularly long-term interest rates, falling over the past week, I thought it would be a good time to make a video about one of the most predictive economic indicators when it comes to recessions. So this indicator is called the 2-year versus 10-year yield curve, and it's predicted basically every recession over the past 50 years. So really quickly before I jump into the chart I want to show you, I thought it would make sense to explain the relationship between bond prices and bond yields. I know it's a little basic, but for those of you that don't know, a bond is issued with a flat coupon rate, and that's what that bond is going to pay for the life of the loan. The price, however, can change. So if demand for a bond increases, the price for that bond is going to increase, which will effectively reduce your yield because you're now paying more for that same coupon. Conversely, if the demand goes down for a bond, you're going to see the price fall, and then you're effectively paying less for the same coupon rate. So that's in a nutshell how yields and prices interact. So, as promised, here is the 2-year versus the 10-year yield curve. It's basically a measure of the 10-year yield minus the 2-year yield. Typically, you should see that 10-year yield higher because the government is willing to pay more if you're willing to commit to a longer loan to them. And that's typical, right? But you'll see that before each of these recessions, these gray bars, the yield curve dips below into that inverted territory, and it usually recovers and normalizes. But each time, like clockwork, you see that it dips right before a recession. So when the Fed started raising rates in March of 2022, you'll see here that very quickly the yield curve inverts, goes to its lowest levels since the 1970s, 80s, and has since normalized. But you know what a lot of people don't know, and people will say, "Well, we've achieved the soft landing, we uninverted the yield curve," but um, typically the time frame after the yield curve uninverts is 1 to 3 years for a recession. So we're still well within that window since the yield curve is uninverted. I'm not. I would love to see a soft landing, but you know that's kind of what the data shows historically. So unfortunately, the Fed doesn't have a crystal ball, and they have to go off of actual data as it comes in. Most of the data they get is lagging indicators, so you end up seeing rate cuts too late. You know, people like to say Jerome Powell is too late, but that's been the story of every Fed chair over the past 4 recessions. You see rate cuts, you know, obviously in 2020 during the pandemic, in 2007 when Lehman Brothers failed. You know, the damage had already been done. The dot-com bubble in 2001, followed by September 11th. You know, events that they were reactive to. So, you know, we're expecting to see a probable rate cut in September, if not sometime this year, from the Fed. But the question is, are they too late? Has the damage already been done to the labor market? It's tough to say. So that's what I have for you today. If you found this helpful, please watch my other videos and have a great day.